because it's yeah, there's no
That's tough, because sales is where you make your money.
Well, it's just fun.
Well, welcome. I'm going to ask everybody to come and join us now. I know it's kind of a full house, and we're going to get started. I'm Beth Rogozinski. I'm one of the co-founders of transmediasf, and welcome to the realification revolution. So before we get started, I just want to thank some of our sponsors here tonight. Citizen Space, this is our first time to use this space, and these guys have been incredibly generous. And we're looking forward to doing more work with them. The Co-Learn, the Producers Guild of America, Lagunitas, big shout out to all of these guys that help us to put this together. And beyond moving on to our fabulous panel of speakers tonight, just a couple of announcements from us. Is Jan here? Yeah. Jan, come on up. transmediasf has started a new production called Madame Mars with Jan Millsaps. Jan, come and tell a little bit about it. It's a really exciting project. We're very excited about it.
Thank you. All right, show of hands. Who wants to move to Mars? Really? All right, well, I'm actually one of the Mars One astronaut candidates. Believe it or not. And it's been a long time since we've been in space. It's been over 40 years since we actually left Earth orbit, and a lot of things have changed. So Madame Mars, and yes, there is a Madame Mars. We are making her now. Madame Mars firmly believes that the first foot to step on the surface of Mars should be made by a woman. For several reasons. First of all, it's our turn, right? Second of all, a lot of things have changed since we last left Earth orbit. The year that we left Earth orbit last and went to the moon was 1972. That was the same year that Title IX was approved, which most people associate with athletics, but it also ensured equal access to science and technology courses, and was really the beginning of the STEM emphasis: science, technology, engineering, and math. Also, this is a really different kind of space age. We're not just going to Mars to plant a flag, collect some rocks, and come back. We're going there to settle down, build and sustain communities, and that is going to take contributions from everybody. So we are in the Madame Mars production trying to trace the history of a lot of women who have done some similar work that is helping us get to Mars. We're looking at what's happening now, and we're looking at future generations and trying to make sure those future generations are prepared for careers, for lives in space, not just to Mars, but to worlds beyond. Madame Mars is looking for friends. She's not that choosy. She has a website. She has a Twitter account. You can find Madame Mars all over the place. I think it's madamemars.com.
Yes.
Is the place to go. And if you have any questions, you can ask any one of us afterwards. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you. So in short, Madame Mars is going to be a transmedia documentary project with a website that is a living laboratory of all of these women. And I don't know if she's arrived yet, but one of the women that we're going to interview, we've signed up with NASA, with JPL, with the Lowell Observatory. But Erica Rodriguez is one of the rocket scientists, and she's supposed to be here tonight. So corner a rocket scientist somewhere around you, and look forward to hearing more about Madame Mars as we continue this great project. A couple of other quick announcements before we get started. Our next event is on June 9th. We're doing this with the TV of Tomorrow show. We're actually helping to host their hackathon, which is the weekend before our event. And our next event is being done with the Producers Guild of America and the Television Academy. These are the folks that give out the Emmy Awards. So we're really looking forward to that. Save the date for Monday, June 9th. We'll look forward to seeing you there. A couple of other quick things we've arranged for everybody that's in this room. If you're interested, to get a free pass to tomorrow night's event with our friends at Yeti Zen. So if you just go to yetizen.com and use the code Transmedia Rocks if you'd be interested in seeing the founders of Diablo 2. A couple other things, just really quickly, we're doing some work with NAB, and we'll be showing some of our first events in the South Bay. For those of you that actually make your way all the way up to San Francisco to see us, we really appreciate it, and now we're coming to you. And you'll look forward to seeing us in the South Bay a little bit more. This event is on May 28th, so if you're interested in this, we can get more information to you from our website. A couple other things, just housekeeping. Barbara Tien is in the back of the room demoing her application Ponga. So in the next break, when you're grabbing your next glass of wine or beer, go and see Barbara. It's a really cool photo storytelling app that you're going to want to check out. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to co-founder of transmediasf, Maya Zuckerman.
Hi, everybody. So we decided to call this event the Realification Revolution, and also because we love anything with ification, because it's really running rampant, you know, storification and gamification and everythingification right now. So we really wanted to join the gang, but it's also the land of the real. We're now moving from just creating apps and things that are digital, going back into the real world and having this very interesting renaissance between real and unreal, and in transmedia stuff we love that. We love this crossing of media, technology, and working together. One of the reasons why we have a robot on as a mascot on most of our most of our events, and the robot's name is Vegas, by the way, and Justin, if that's his father, can you raise your hand? That's his father. Even from my inception, yeah, you are his father. Even from my inception, he's always been around, and Justin did this amazing story world while creating Robot, where he sent these 3 beautiful robots around the world to create connectivity between humans and actually have each one foster a robot for a while. And the other lady over there, Rosie was her name, right? The Brain in the Jar. There were 2 characters that we created for our Transmedia Jam back in 2012. So definitely, we've always seen transmedia stuff as a space for not only digital makers, but makers of all sorts. We are going to have a wonderful talk later, even more about the Makers Manifesto. But we have, because we have Mark Hatch here, but the manifesto, and I created a quick kind of word cloud around the words of the manifesto, really is a renaissance in what has been happening in the world. Again, coming back from the generation of just do it yourself or inventing yourself into this maker, which is both. And Deloitte Center of the Edge actually was talking about it. I really got involved with the maker movement early on, years ago, when I went to Burning Man the first time. This is actually from last year. But that is, for the Bay Area, one of the biggest maker movements. But I've seen a lot of things coming in and out from Burning Man itself back to San Francisco, and kind of hand in hand, hailing if Burning Man's our sandbox for testing things, and you bring it back into the real world and you test it here. I'm not a big maker, I'm more of a digital maker, but I also made this, which is this big stellar icosahedron, because I have this thing about stellar icosahedrons and geodesic domes and all these great things. So even I caught that bug a few years ago. There's a really interesting ecosystem happening right now. This is a slide from Deloitte University Press, a movement in the making. One of the writers is either here or going to be here. He will be lifting his hand if he was here. But Delisha Kovasiria, John Hagel, and Jones from maker-driven businesses going up and up and up. These different steps of where makers are. You know, zero to maker, you've got all these different spaces for them to interact, like the Maker Fair, like Pinterest, like meetups. To start off, you have the maker-to-maker interaction, and then the maker-to-market, which is a very interesting space to be in. I think, you know, the interesting thing is that we always have been makers, and it's something that is in our DNA, but there's something new about the way we're doing it now. And it is new because it's changing how we do business. And the advent of 3D printers and rapid prototyping available for everybody really makes it easy for everybody to become a maker. This is another slide that I really like, the idea of the creator-consumer ecosystem where the individual can be both at the same time even, and creating this really rich environment for a new form of business to be created. One of the things that I really like to see is also this new support for children to become makers. And DIY and the Doozers were two, and also Instructables. DIY.org is a wonderful website. It's got an app as well for kids learning skills. And it's really beautiful, really easy to do. There's all these, like Instructables, very similar, but really, really good to kids to learn how to do different projects, from anything from science projects to making your own little 3D something, to creating, to making cookies, to everything. And actually you can actually collect badges to level up, so very gamified, extremely beautiful. Instructable is very similar, but even more open to the wider adult audience. And the Doozers, this is brand new. So Hulu just posted this as a Hulu exclusive. It's Jim Henson, AKA Disney. And if you remember the Doozers from Fraggle Rock, those were the little guys that kept doing. But they were in the 80s, was it the Fraggle Rock, I think? They were kind of those ones that they're cute, but nobody even noticed them. And I think this is what's happening with the status quo of makers, and the philosophy around makers is all of a sudden they got their own TV show 30, 40 years later, where they're the mainstream. They're what kids are seeing. And actually, in preparation for tonight, I actually looked at an episode. It's really cute. It's 11 minutes. And what I noticed were a few things: rapid prototyping, problem solving of ideas, design thinking. They put that all into the show. And also something that I really love, girls and boys get to play together, and there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody's trying to invent new things, and they're trying it together. It's also creating this, what I noticed in the episode that I saw, creating a safe space for kids to explore, to fail, and it's okay. Like, they went through like 4 iterations of an idea, and every time, oh, this doesn't work, well, let's try this. And this is very different. This is very new, I think, to see that in kids' TV shows. And again, the Doozers is because they do. So they were also, even in their name, they come through as the doers. So we have 4 really wonderful presenters tonight. And the way we're going to do it tonight is a little bit different. We're going to have each presenter present, and we're going to take 2 to 3, maybe 4 questions from the crowd. And then we're going to move to the next one. We're not going to have a panel at the end. So if you have something you really want to ask them, lift up your hand during each of the speakers. So the first wonderful lady of our speakers tonight is Libby Falk from CDX Project. And Libby, CDX Project, the name, not the project, actually came from the Transmedia Startup Weekend. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, that's very exciting. So the Startup Weekend Transmedia, we helped produce last year in 2013, and it was 54 hours of working around creating, prototyping your business. And Justin, you were there as well with another cool game. So Libby is an entrepreneur, designer, researcher based in San Francisco. She's also the co-founder of the Coalition for Innovative Development, Education and Action, Idea Co, right?
Yes.
Where she designs, prototypes, programs with the mission of turning makers into change makers. I love that. And she's also the director of CDX Project.